who was always draped in the latest brands and has got status symbols, their self-esteem is done. They ain't got any, right? Because they need that stuff. I mean, would Calvin Klein wear your name on him? And on the path of power, you turn your senses within. You go and chase your demons instead of running from them. And this is just the end result. The Earth Day suit is part of the game. It's not all of the game because there are factors of your energetics. You are on Earth for one of these 4 reasons. And once you know what they are, the rest of your life becomes a lot easier to deal with because this is the baseline or the drums. This is what holds the entire song of your life together. Get laid, get paid, make the world a better place, or escape. That's it. That's the nature of the game. Now, as you can guess, most people are in the first 2 stages. They're going to spend lifetimes, one after another, going over them because it's get laid, get paid, get laid, get paid. It's a great illusion. This is part of the psychosocial treadmill, right? It's very, very seductive because it appeals to a lot of things. For example, getting laid, these are DNA commands, right? There's also a spiritual aspect to it because there's a reason why you find, have you ever noticed that there's some people who may not be beautiful but have loads of sex appeal? And then there's some people who have no sex appeal but are very, very beautiful. This is what I mean about the energetics. There's far more to this than this. This is just the end result. The Earth Day suit is part of the game. It's not all of the game because there are factors of your energetics. Now, you want to get laid because you want to procreate, right? And that's the flesh. The flesh does its own thing. It likes living. It's scared of death. It's attracted towards pleasure and away from pain. And that part of that programming is what makes slaves slaves because it's the easiest thing to do. It's the path of least resistance. The warrior, however, walks upon the path of power. And on the path of power, you turn your senses within. You go and chase your demons instead of running from them. So you shake off the pleasure for a bit and say, okay, I'll leave that alone. And you start taking steps towards your pain. You find that wound within, the one that gently weeps, the one that ruins everything, the one that you pretend doesn't exist. And you go and befriend it and you see what happened. Because that's your innocence. That is how it was adulterated. This is what you need to fix. But most people are not interested in this. They think some savior will swoop out of the sky, they will buy a product, they'll get rich, you know what I mean? They'll find somebody else to solve all their problems. This is actually the #1 cause of so many arguments and so many relationships because people believe that their partner should manage their energetics. Do you know how dumb that is? That's like me saying to you, yeah, listen, I'm going to sit here, right, and watch TV and eat some crisps and you take my belly to the gym and bring me back a 6-pack. You see how stupid that is? But people do it all the time. This is the base thing that defines so many relationships. Manage your own energy, fool, right? Now get paid is the next one. Money is a figment of your imagination. It literally doesn't exist. There's a group of people who print it, sell it to the government, and then the government give it to you. That is, you're a slave. Just because you think you can buy freedom, right? Look at the French, the word mortgage is a French word, mortgage. It means death contract or measure of death. How obvious do you need it to be, right? You know, your crap ain't worth anything anyway. You can get as many toys as you want in this world. They're somebody else's. The only thing that leaves out of the game with you is your awareness and your experience, and most importantly, your knowledge of self. Now, people want to get paid. Why do they want to get paid? Because they want to stunt on other people who are as broke and as broken as them, right? It's a case of, look at me, I got this, right? There was a study done with people who were, I think it was Boeing. They were Boeing executives, and they had the best healthcare. They had like, every single thing was done, and their mortality rate was something like 60% higher than a factory worker. And somebody wanted to study why this was, and they looked into it, and the reasons were very, very interesting. It's because all of their life they were used to presenting that Boeing card with their name on it. They had glory by association. This is the reason why people want to wear brands. If you see anybody who is always draped in the latest brands and has got status symbols, their self-esteem is done. They ain't got any, right? Because they need that stuff. I mean, would Calvin Klein wear your name on him? Do you see what I'm saying? Why do you do this, you damn brand whores? But you'll do it anyway, right? Because you want to show people, look how rich I am, look how exclusive I am. I used to wear couture clothing back like 20 years ago when it was couture clothing and it was exclusive. So things were like triple stitched, fine Egyptian cotton. The stuff you're buying now is not that. It's just got a big goldy logo on. They make it in China and then they sew the label in Italy so they can say hand finished in Italy. That's all part of the scam, but you know, luxury lost its luster. That's just the way it is. Now the third stage of people, they want to make the world a better place. These people do not come along very often, right? I'll give you a prime example of one of them, Michael Jackson. Another one, Nikola Tesla. This is the kind of scale. There are countless others that are not famous because a lot of them either get suppressed, don't make it, they get depressed, or they make changes on a small scale to people who knew them, because obviously they didn't have the internet back then and a lot of things are hidden in history. But these kind of people have an empathy because they're from a different resonance. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I want to share my gifts, I want to share my gifts, I want to share my gifts. And very often they find that the world rejects them because the world is not ready for it. The world is owned by people who dictate its progress at a certain pace, and they want slaves that are just clever enough to work the machines, but, you know what I mean, dumb enough to not figure out how to get them screwed. Word George Carlin. Now, this kind of people, the tortured artist is a great example of this. Or somebody like the mad scientist, right? There are people who innovate and they want to innovate, but then you've got things like the patent system and you've got all the vultures that walk around that. The net has made things a lot easier, but it's very telling that we have this device which offers so much freedom and people congregate around the same commercial glow when they could literally be doing anything. That's pretty insane when you think about it. The fourth reason for being here, the reason why I'm here, is to escape. That's it. I'm done with the game. You can have it. The owners, the slave masters, they can keep it. I want to sprinkle some wisdom whilst I'm in this realm, talk to my warriors, awaken the flame within their chest, help who I can help, and generally leave this place better than I came into it. Now, to do that, it's not easy, because when you start your life, right, when like you're a fresh soul, when it's your first incarnation, your life will be simple because it's designed to be seductive. They want you to come back again. So you'll have a nice little time wearing your little flesh suit, you walk around the planet, you're like, oh, this is great. Bang, reincarnation, you come back in again. And each time it gets incrementally worse because you're leveling up. It's getting harder and harder and harder. When it comes time to escape, right, it's the equivalent of going to airport. So let's say if you go to an airport and you got loads of baggage with you and they're like, oh, this is carry-on luggage only. You better go back to Earth and dump all that off. You get reincarnated. Now you've got the luggage of a past life and the life that you're living now, right? This, for some of you, a light would have gone on in your head as to why your life is a mess and why this is hidden so far behind, right? It takes such a level of honesty to look at that, to embrace your pain. And this is the pain of generations. It's all in your veins. You inherited it. Have you ever questioned why the people who are religious are worshipping somebody else's ancestors but ignoring their own? Make that make sense, right? Once again, can you take somebody else's belly to the gym? No, you cannot, but your ancestors are right here. They ain't never left. Now, when it comes to this, it's a spiritual pursuit, right? And it's really lonely, very, very lonely, because you have an entirely different perspective on the world to everyone else. You have a different level of knowledge of self. Some people find it very attractive. Some people find it very repulsive. It all depends on their own level. It all depends on their own resonance. So I say, water gets to where it's going to be. It's just the way it is. It's got no resistance. It takes the shape of anything. But the warrior illuminates that water, turns it to steam, and ascends to a higher level. And that's what liberation is all about. And that's my game. Get free or die trying. Now, when you come into your life, because this will be your last life, right? When you come into it on this level, prepare for a living hell. You're going to see the absolute worst, because the last thing the slave masters want is for you to leave. And what they want even less than that is for you to leave and give other people the key as well. And that's what Will Help Me is. That's the entire point of this project. That's why I do these things. That's why I share this knowledge. Because if somebody else was doing this, if you were me and you knew this, I would really appreciate you giving me a shout. Really appreciate it. Even if I just applied a little bit of it, right? If I ignored all the rest, took the bit of work, applied it, and my life was better, I'd be like, oh, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. And that's what I'm doing. This is my gift to you, because this is what I said to you in the other video, that this world can give me nothing. Nothing at all, right? But I have plenty to give it, and I intend to. So, welcome to the ride. Do it again.